Can we stop training for these super duper ultimate ninja knife fighting, machine gun shooting, triple duple attack scenarios where miles and miles of Bloods and Crips on steroids come storming at us and we take them out one by one like we're Leonidas's 300? We're just one person who could beat all the Spartans and the Persian army by ourselves? You know, you're much more likely to be attacked by a drunk relative, or some of you might be attacked by a date or a spouse, than you are some of these knifings and things that you think are going to happen. A lot of that stuff and even a lot of stuff that we look at for self-defense, a lot of that stuff can be eliminated by awareness. And, you know, concealed carry is not going to get you out of every single type of violent situation. There's nothing that will. None of the techniques I know. It's like you don't use a nuclear bomb for every situation either. How about training for some stuff that's really likely to happen to you? You know, like for instance, somebody you know is mentally unstable and they decide to attack you that day. You roll snake eyes and get into a bad relationship with somebody you find out, oops, is violent. You're being bullied at school or maybe even at work. You know, you could possibly get robbed. Now, if it's a home invasion, are you going to break out the roundhouse kicks? You know, one of the local martial arts masters around me has a video online about his home invasion. Just look up home invasion and you'll eventually find it. I'm not going to name drop here. And he tells how he handled it. He could not go right into the tiger style stance or, you know, start grounding and pounding people right away. He had to wait for the opportunity to use what he knew so that other people wouldn't get hurt. So, you know, like I said in another video, that's why I detour around and down on my channel when I'm talking. And sometimes even in class, I have people like one thing I did a couple of weeks ago. Let's pretend we're in a movie theater, people sitting down. So how are you going to implement your technique in a movie theater where you're sitting down and there's, you know, rows around you, other people around you? What are you going to do? Why don't we start training for some of that stuff? But now before you can get to those things, though, guess what you got to have? You got to have your basics down. You got to have your hands in the right position. You got to be able to form a proper fist and have proper footwork. Because the stuff that fails on people that they don't want to do right when they're blocking the air or even hitting the heavy bag, put your thumb here, have your hand here, you know, have your feet spread apart. When it comes for them to go to those applied miscellaneous wild card situations, they make the same mistakes. So, you know, instead of some of us acting like we're tortured because our teacher makes us do something over and over again, not because the teacher's mean, but because you don't know it yet, and thinking that we're going to be thinking that sparring is the only thing in class that really counts. You know, not wanting to do one steps creatively. Not wanting to practice our form so we can get in touch with our bodies. You know, thinking that everything requires a hard response or that everything requires a soft response. You know, let's start thinking here. And let's us start thinking as students. And not necessarily think it's a teacher's responsibility to teach us to have common sense. Peace.